Hey everybody, how you doing? Well, we went and took a break from doing our research for a reason. So I had to do this. Video right down here. I'm at home in the valley, and me and Garland both. We live in the Sacramento Valley, and you're probably wondering what we're here today for. Okay. I got something. We both have something we're going to release to you, and we want everybody out there to know what 7 years of research we came up with a conclusion on this particular subject of my research, and which was about the origins of Sasquatch. And also, today, me and Garland, we're going to announce to you all what we classified as the Sierra Sasquatch, of what they really are and their origins. Now, this conclusion all came up and was done by nothing but by solid evidence. And as a matter of fact, 7 years of documented evidence. Now today, my mission today is to present all the evidence to you. By the time you weigh all the evidence in, I think you're going to not have much of a choice, but you're going to have to say they're real and they exist, because that's what I'm going to prove to you is that they do. Now, how am I going to do this? All through evidence. And we have certain levels of evidence. Like right here. Right here, what I have is 7 years of solid evidence right in here. 7 years. In detail. Everything we have done in our research for 7 years in the Sierra Mountains. Month by month, all year round, all seasons. That's me and Garland. That's how it had to be done. And I bet you'd love to know what's in here, wouldn't you? But I got to keep it here. This is our secret. 7 years, documented evidence. Now, what I'm going to do is we're going to get started. I'm going to present the evidence to you. As I'm doing this, you will see what I'm going to do is I'm going to link everything together for you. I'm going to break everything down. Darna's going to help me. And at the end of this segment, we're going to release the truth of the true identity of the Sierra Sasquatch. So, hang in there, work with us, make it to the end, and you're going to get the answer. Now, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to start off by I'm going to break down the evidence for you. Okay? Okay. Now, oh, and when I do get done with the evidence, when we get down to the part I'm going to break it down to, there's a chart I made. It's my own graphic chart. And I'll break it down for you, and I'll explain to you. And when I get done breaking that down, explaining the chart to you, then I'm going to give you the truth of what he is. Okay? Now, let's start off. Like I said, we're going to go through the evidence. I'm not going to show you no videos today or nothing, because if you want to see videos, I got a lot of them on my site. This is not about the videos, because we have documented evidence by video as well as on paper. Now we're down to the very last important ingredient for evidence. And of course, that's eyewitness accounts. Through the years, me and Garland, we have interviewed a few people that were very credible. But the most incredible was what me and Garland had saw, and what we seen, what we experienced through interactions, and to be quite frank, damn near up close and up front with them. Under those circumstances, we do know exactly what they look like. And I must say this, Garland, I don't know, man, you know, in your opinion, everything we see that's posted out on the internet, you know, people post this and that up, you know, and this is a Squatch, this Bigfoot, you know, whatever, and, you know, in your opinion, you have seen them, we saw them together.
Yes.
Is anything, most of the stuff posted out there, does it enlighten you at all?
No. No. I don't even waste time looking at videos.
They don't look like what we see?
No. Never did. No. Never.
I have to agree. So what we're going to do right now, we're going to go ahead and follow the evidence. So I'm going to present the evidence to you, okay? Now, let's start off with this. You know, when I first started this, in 1967, I got bit by the bug. Patterson film. Oh, you betcha. That was a pretty awesome thing to see at the time. Through the years, not much has changed. People pretty much, well, they go out there and think they're doing research, and or they're looking for the elusive creature called Bigfoot. They try to hunt them down or whatever means they can. They use technology, cameras, and whatever. That's fine and dandy. But you got to have the ability to know what you're looking for and how to find it. You see, that's what's been the problem. What I did was this. Through all the years, I got to the point where I kind of felt everybody was looking in the wrong places. And quite frankly, they were. I set out about 5 years ago and had to self-educate myself on a lot of subjects. And I'm glad I did, because it helped us a hell of a lot in the research. I knew what I got to the point where I knew exactly what I was looking for as an evidence. So, what I'm going to do is right now we're going to go right through the evidence. And the evidence is going to link right straight to the truth. Okay? You see, because if you follow the evidence and you follow the facts, they lead you to the truth. That's just the bottom line. And this is what this is about. I'm going to take you to the truth, and I'm going to walk you through it. So, here we go. Now, for a long time, nobody really knew. Right now, we'll call him Bigfoot. No one really knew this creature, Bigfoot, say, his diet. What did he eat? What does he need to consume to survive, to sustain his massive size? I don't think anybody's really through the years never really thought about looking at it that way. But you have to. And I did. Something happened real interesting. I decided that I had to educate myself in the past. So I started studying on early hominins. As I was studying it through the last couple of years, I came up with 3 particular subjects. 3. Which I will name later. Now, 2 particular early hominins really got me real quick. And that's what we're going to kind of concentrate on. Now, the species that I classify as the Sierra Sasquatch, and for a reason, I know exactly what their diet is, because it took us quite a few years to get it down. What do you think, G?
Oh yeah.
A lot of years?
A lot of years.
And
Not a boots on the ground.
a lot of field research. Buku. And I will say that also in the 7 years of our research, we have conducted research not only by day, but also by night. So let's get back to their diet. Okay, our Sierra Sasquatch, I know their diet now. Two hominins that I'm thinking about have the exact same diet. Uncanny, isn't it? Because it's not supposed to be that way. And that's evidence. Now, our Sierra Sasquatch can also construct things, like shelters. For instance, so did our early hominins constructed shelters. Above ground, and they also lived in the ground. Subterranean caves, caverns, caves. Our Sierra Sasquatch does the same identical thing. Lives above the ground, lives below the ground. And that's one of the reasons why me and G's been looking for subterranean caves. And we will find one. We do know where they're at. It just takes some time to figure out how to get in there and find them. But we'll get the mission done. Now, and that's evidence. Now, and we have documented by video for the first time on the internet, and no one ever has, when we recorded the shelters. On the video we recorded 8, in reality there was 10. Now if you looked up from an aerial view, you would see that the way the shelters were set up, they were set in such a manner you definitely knew there was some type of a social system living there. Yes, there was a social system living there, because that's what the evidence showed me. We follow the evidence. Now, our early hominins, they used tools, particular types of tools. What was the main tools they used? Rock and stone. What were they used for? Chopping and cutting. Our Sierra Sasquatch uses the same tools. Rock and stone for chopping and cutting. I have documented that right here. I have documented it on video. That is a fact. Follow the evidence. Now, let's just say I'm just going to name a few on the list as to cover the diet, just so you know. I didn't want to leave that out completely. So let's say our Sierra Sasquatch, he likes a variety of fish, shellfish, freshwater clams, saltwater clams, small mammals up to large mammals like a deer. Variety of nuts, wild berries, that's just to name a few. Now guess what? Our early hominins had the same diet, ate the same types of foods. We follow the evidence. Now, do they have a language? Can they actually talk? The answer is no. We've been up close enough where some would say where they call it chatter. Usually they call it chatter. I've heard them up where I call it gibberish, because it's in a particular kind of language that we don't understand, only they understand, but it's like a gibberish. Okay. Our early hominins, They had no English either. They had no language they spoke. So how did they communicate? That's simple. You communicate with certain, say, grunts, groans, gestures, physical gestures. They communicate by using symbols and things like this. See, so and it's kind of miraculous, see, because our Sasquatch communicates the same way. That's why we come across rock markers, tree markers. I know a lot of you out there don't realize this, but see, the tree markers, me and Garland, we pioneered that. We're the guys that pioneered that. We were the ones, the very first ones to put up an X marker. And mind you, it's the largest X marker on the internet. It's taken me years to figure out what the rock markers meant and what the particular tree markers meant. Now we know. They use it as a symbol. They use it as a basis of communicating, as probably our early hominins did. I follow the evidence. Now, we're getting close, ladies and gentlemen. We're getting close. Now, I want to show you something. I got a sample in here, which is a hair sample, okay? Which can't come right out. It came right out of this frame, right there. Okay. Now, what I'm about to show you is evidence. Now, what I've done, I have taken what I call one of that kind of below average size of one of the hairs that I pulled out of here, and it's measured for your convenience. And what I did is I measured this because this is a very important piece of evidence. I'm going to step forward a little bit. Let's see if you can see this. You guys see that? Let me hold still. There's a hair in there. I hope you can see it. This hair is measured 6 inches. And it's 6 inches in length, but there's 2 inches missing. And there's 2 inches missing. Why? Because when we found the cluster of hair, it was wedged in, and I had to cut it free. So I lost 2 inches of the hair, which was really sad because that was the follics. But this hair comes to a fine tip. Now, I'm going to explain this hair to you. This hair sample which came out of that frame I'll explain something to you real fast so you understand. It's a very important piece of evidence. Now, you got certain animals that live on this globe that do have hair. Mammals. But there's not one on this planet that can grow continuous hair. There's only 2 species on this whole planet that can grow continuous hair. Do you know what that is? Primate and humans. We can grow continuous hair. What does that mean? That means we have no maximum. It's continuous. It grows, grows, grows. How do we stop it? We cut it. So, we have 2 species left on this planet that can grow continuous hair. There is no other species on this planet that can grow a hair this lengthy. And mind you, 2 inches was missing off this, and this was measured at 6, so that leaves you 8 inches. I have hair samples in here that are 10 inches plus. So, that puts it out of the range out of any known animal on this planet, except for 2, right? Primate and human. So which do you think that is? Primate or human? I got a good answer for you. How about both? I follow the evidence. Now we're getting to a crossroads, ain't we? What everybody had thought or assumed what this looked like, way off base. Because it's nothing what everybody thought. And I will tell you this, it's not a myth, it's not a legend, and it damn sure ain't no monster. What we're dealing with is something that is actually living today, and it is real as hell. I follow the evidence. Now, let's get to Sasquatch droppings. Me and G, we pioneered that too. Nobody knew. I mean, who would know? I mean, yeah, they didn't even know what the hell to look for. They didn't even know what the damn thing looked like. They didn't even know what it fed on. How are you going to know what its droppings even look like? You understand where I'm coming from? These are little pieces of evidence. You need them. See, because I'm putting a puzzle together. I need every little piece of evidence I can. When I put this puzzle together, it's going to tell me a story in a picture. And guess what? And it sure to hell did. That's why I'm here today. Because of the evidence. Now, when I studied on the droppings, after a lengthy research on it, then I come up with that conclusion, and the conclusion was this. It's like I have stated. It does not belong to any known animal in the Sierra Mountains, period. Not one known animal. Of any sort, of any kind. But yet it's there, and it's real. And we've documented it in here and on video. I follow the evidence. Now, it kind of helped us too when we started discovering these particular types of droppings, because when I dig inside, it tells me what they're feeding on. Okay? Say for instance, we recorded one not too long ago where we uncovered, we showed you there was some deer hair in the droppings and a little sliver of bone. You have to understand when these guys do consume food, they're not like us, okay? And to find say hair, some hair, or maybe a piece of bone in their dung, that's not unusual because of their eating habits, okay? It's understandable, but it showed proof that they do eat deer and some other small mammals and a variety of other foods they eat in the forest, which we know. I follow the evidence. Okay, now there was something else they did we discovered. These certain early hominins that I keep hitting in my head here, they also made decoys for fowl and deer. Well, guess what? 2 years ago, me and Garland, we're up in the Sierras. It's in the winter. And you know what we came across? We came across an item that looked like some kind of a decoy. As we approached it, it looked like a deer, didn't it? It looked like a deer. Did it, huh?
It had little sticks for antlers and everything.
And we documented that on video, and it's documented on paper. Now, check this out. Nobody knows what the decoys actually would have looked like that the early hominins constructed. They don't even have a clue, but yet they know they did. I suggest this, that how they constructed them and what they probably might have looked like over 100,000 years ago, I suggest to you that video we took of that decoy is probably a smoking gun on that. Because there's no other one like it. You will not find anything like it, period. Nothing on the internet, nothing in a book. But yet we got it. It's on one of our videos. It's called the decoy. It's evidence. I follow the evidence. So now that we covered all this, now it's time. What I'm going to do, I think now I'm going to bring up my, you guys want to give us a second, ladies and gentlemen? Me and Garland's going to take a quick break. We will be right back, and when I come back, I'm going to show you the chart that I drew up, and we're going to get down to the nitty-gritty. We'll be back in a minute. Ooh. Hey guys, back from a break. We had to take a little break, you know. Anyway, so now I got my chart that I drew up, my graphic chart. What I'm going to do, I'm going to introduce this to you guys, and I think what I'm going to end up doing here, Garland, is, okay guys, okay. Now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to explain this to you. Let me get over here. Can you see that pretty good, G?
Yeah. I could think it just, okay.
Are we good?
Yeah.
Okay. As you guys can see, I drew all this up. Okay, this is my graphic chart, and I'm gonna break it down. I'm gonna explain to you what probably happened and why we're at here today where we're at. Okay, now I told you I had 3 suspects, let's say, that had to do of what I'm going with this to. Now, my first one, the first one I kind of thought about because only reason he fit the physical appearance, the particular characteristics of what most are aware of what this creature looks like. And of course that was gigantic pithuses. I mean, hell, it full grown, 10 feet tall, up to 1,000 pounds. Very massive, very massive primate. The problem I had with that is it did not have the diet that what I classify as the Sierra Sasquatch has. Not even near it. So I had to eliminate that. So now the one that hit my fancy came later, okay? And that was hominin habilis. Now, habilis lived from 2.1 to 1.4 million years ago. Okay? Now, he's not a key player, but he does have something to do with something, which I will tell you. I will get there. Now, what happened was when habilis got to where he was living in a 1.4 million year era, and we have a hominin erectus comes in the picture. And what she, 1.8 through 1.4 million years ago. Now, at one time, habilis and erectus did cross paths. They did know of each other. The dates here prove that. 1.4, erectus, 1.4. Puts them in the same time period. It proves, yes, that it's very possible they could have crossbreeded, and they probably did. When that happened, this created what I call a gray area, and I will get to that in a few. But for right now, he's kind of out of the picture. He's not my main suspect, although he's a player. Now we're getting down to my two major suspects. These two hominins, erectus and egaster. Erectus and egaster did know of each other. Why? Because there was a point that they lived in the same time period, which is here. 1.4, erectus, egaster to 1.5. So they were in the same time period. Right in here, see 1.8 to 1.4, 1.8 to 1.5. These two hominins definitely crossbreeded. And when they crossbreeded, something fantastic happened. They created something. And what they created was something special. Very special. Now, let's get back to habilis. Now, I say this is my gray area, and the reason I say that is because there was a time period where several different types of hominin species were created. And they were never known on the books, but yet we know they did exist. I believe today, from this gray area, that some of these hominins still exist today in parts around the globe, and even here in North America. The reason I say this is because I know for a fact there are several different types of species in North America, and I know for a fact that there is different types of species in the Sierra Mountains. Okay? These are the ones that are less intelligent. These are the ones that are more aggressive and more on the primal side. Okay? A little more savage, put it that way. Which would make sense because that's basically how they would have lived in that time period. This is from the gray area. And that is why there is different types of species of, we'll just say, Bigfoot. Now we go up here. Extinction. We're going to go to extinction. Now, Hublis went extinct about 1.4 million years ago. Erectus went extinct about around 108,000 years ago, and Egaster around 70,000 years ago. Okay? Now, 70,000 years ago, it's not really that long if you think about it. And what had happened was this. Ladies and gentlemen, we're getting down to the nitty-gritty now. Now we're getting to the moment you all been waiting for. Now's the time. I'm going to announce to everybody out there what I classify as the Sierra Sasquatch, what he really is. He's a hybrid. Hey guys, I'm back. Sorry about that. Anyway, so where was I? Oh, I remember. I'm just teasing you guys. Look it. Now I'm going to go ahead and tell you that I'm going to tell you the truth of what he really is. Okay? What he really is, he's a hominin hybrid. That's right, you heard me right. Our Sierra Sasquatch that I classified as a Sierra Sasquatch is a hominin hybrid. His origins are Erectus and Egaster. That's correct. I follow the evidence. The evidence all points to that direction. The evidence says exactly that. Everything I've explained to you is all the evidence. It all points to those two particular hominins. But I will say this. The hybrid we have is not like no other hybrid known. This guy is very special. And I mean very special. Now, so there's your truth. Now you know the origins, and now you know what he really is. And now you also know why there is other species of Bigfoot out there. The Sierra Sasquatch that we classified, that is our hominin hybrid, is very intelligent. And I'll tell you, he knows how to survive in the wild. And that's why he is so elusive. And that is why he's about almost impossible to find. He's been at it for thousands and thousands of years. So, the bottom line is this. There is an early hominin of species that through crossbreeding and has become a hybrid of no other proves those particular hominins did not go completely extinct because they're alive today. And I probably just rattled the cage in the science world, believe you me. But that's okay. Like I said, I followed the evidence, and the evidence is conclusive. The evidence is the facts, the evidence is the truth. So, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. This segment is through, and this part of mine and Garland's research has come to a conclusion. Now we know exactly what we are studying on and what we are researching. My next mission is I'm going to go out and try to find a subterranean cave. And I'll be working on that in the beginning of the new year of 2019. So, all you out there, y'all take care. I hope you like this video. I hope it was informative for you. And everything I have just told you is factual and truthful. And like I said, all I did was follow the evidence. Okay guys, I gotta go. So I'm gonna be heading right back up to the hill again. So you guys take care. See you later.